Howdy, everybody. Joe here. Just having a chill evening in the basement, and thought it would be cool to make a quick video covering some of the cool stuff I have down here. I have about a million things here, and can't talk about all of it, but I was thinking I could focus on Laserdiscs today, and kind of wanted to talk about Terminator 2. The reason I wanted to talk about Terminator 2, the reason I thought it would be a cool idea, is because that's kind of the movie that started my Laserdisc collection. I went to Half Price Books one day looking for records because that's what you do at Half Price Books, I guess, and noticed a small section called Laserdiscs. And I'd always heard of the things. I know Tom Cruise was a fan of them in some interview, but I never looked into it, never looked up what they were. And but the thing I saw in the front of the selection here was a copy of Terminator 2. It's this special edition here, and it stood out to me because I think this is the only version of the movie that I've seen that has Linda Hamilton and Eddie Furlong on the cover. It also has Robert Patrick in here, kind of faded, like a Darth Vader kind of ominous presence. And I just saw that and I was like, whoa. I don't have a Laserdisc player or much interest to watch a Laserdisc movie, but that could be cool to like frame it or something. So it was like $10. I picked it up, and then one day I found a cheap Laserdisc player, and now you see where I'm at. But this is where it started, and kind of wanted to talk about this release because it's kind of got some neat stuff about it. So on the back, you've got some images from deleted scenes. As you can see on the cover, it's the special edition, which has 16 minutes or so of added content from the theatrical cut. And I think a lot of them make a lot more sense. They show like the Terminator having his memory pulled out to like reset his learning processes, which have been held back by Cyberdyne. Sorry, I'm a huge nerd. I could geek about this for a long time, but if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a great movie. Yeah, and then if you open up the inside, it's a fold gate, kind of like a vinyl record, which is sort of why I like these things. Because if you like movies, this is the coolest way to experience it. It's like a big art book. Some of them are even cooler. But on the bottom here, you've got your chapter select. Then on either side is these two columns kind of summarizing each deleted scene or each added scene from the special edition, kind of summarizes them. And then it also came with a little memo. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so there's this little, I'm not going to read it, but it's a little note from James Cameron just kind of talking about why he made the special edition, this alternate cut. Though nowadays it's kind of the mainstream cut because it's such a much better movie. And I found out that signature at the bottom, that's not a real signature, that's printed on, obviously, mass-produced. But cool anyway. And that's kind of the thing about Laserdisc that caught me off guard was just a lot more like effort gone into the physical presentation of these things versus what we got now where it's like little... I might have one handy. No, I put it back. Okay. So I got that, and then I got a Laserdisc player. So then I watched it with some friends, and it was a really cool experience. It's THX remastered audio, which I hadn't heard the THX intro in years, and when it kind of like with like a subwoofer and everything, it like gave me goosebumps. So I thought that was neat. But another thing that's interesting, sorry, I'll bring it up again. It's the widescreen edition. It says along the top because it's displayed in a particular aspect ratio. However, the one that I grew up on was the VHS version, which was 4:3 that you'd watch on one of these old CRT TVs. And I like widescreen, and directors like widescreen. It frames their image. Like it's like an artistic decision to make something widescreen. But there's a version of Terminator 2 in a lot of movies. I won't go into the science behind it because people explain it better than me. But there's something they call open matte, which is basically without the letterboxing, you've got the full image. This particular release, they call it full frame, so you see more on the top and bottom. I always assumed that 4:3 was always pan and scan, like the sides were cut off or pan to the side to focus on what you're supposed to focus on. But this one, you can see even more picture, and it's just the classic cover we're all familiar with. Um, Arnold with the cool shotgun, and got a couple screenshots. Worth noting, this is the theatric release. It doesn't have the extra scenes, but you open it up, it's another fold gate. You got a lot of production stills or screenshots from the film, and then your chapter selection. And I did end up watching this, and it was really cool, nostalgic. Got a couple open matte laser discs. I've been kind of drinking the Kool-Aid on that. It's a pretty cool. Sometimes with open matte, you see boom mics or things that the director never intended, but I just think it's kind of a cool way to experience something you're familiar with. But that's not the coolest Terminator 2 Laserdisc set I have. I went to a different used record store, and again, it was the first thing in the stack of the Laserdisc section calling to me specifically, and it was only $25, which was crazy. It's a box set, Terminator 2 Special Edition. It's pretty much the same as the other Special Edition I have in terms of the content, but it has an extra disc for supplemental material, and the presentation is neat. It's just this unassuming black box with this kind of metallic-looking plate. I believe this plate, the color is different based on the window that you purchased it in or the region you're purchasing it in. I've seen it in silver or blue. I think silver was like their early release. There was a limited number made like that. There was a limited number of this made like this as well. But so yeah, you just slide it out and boom, there's Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is awesome. It's like a big art thing. And you flip it over and it's the T-800 skull in flames, which is really cool. And when you slip out, the first thing in the box is oh goodness, it's kind of a leaflet version of the cover for the other special edition I have. And you got like some notes. This comes with the memo from James Cameron printed in the leaflet, and then like these are the deleted scene notes. Then it folds out even more. You've got chapter select, and then a note from the THX team for audio remastering. And I dropped something as well. I think it's kind of redundant. They also included another copy of the note from James Cameron, so I have two of these, which is cool. So back to the box set. It comes with 3 discs, and each one of them is housed in this awesome black sleeve with the Cyberdyne logo, the triangle up here. That's the company that created Skynet and ended the world. And I guess I haven't shown you what a Laserdisc looks like, but they have paper sleeves with the logo on them, and that's kind of a disc. They're like giant DVDs, basically, 2-layered, 2-sided. Each side can hold, depending on the format it's printed on, it can hold 30 minutes to an hour, and you kind of have to keep flipping, just like a record. And I kind of like that because it's like you get a break. You can get up and stretch or kind of process what you just watched. It's neat. And yeah, so something that happened with the other special edition that I have on Laserdisc, the scene where T-1000 is in the liquid nitrogen and his leg comes off and his hand comes off, there's actually something called laser rot that happened right at that scene. And that happens usually when these two sides, because this is 2 discs glued together, over time the glue, depending on the manufacturer, can kind of oxidize and you get like bubbles in the glue. And that actually affects the data that the lasers reads. So you'll see like vertical skips, like little line aberrations, and audio will start getting weird. The video might actually skip. And unfortunately, that impacted the other copy that I had. So another reason to pick up another one, and it didn't affect this copy, which is nice. And yeah, that's basically it for the Laserdisc T2 that I have. Oh, one other thing to call out, just for nerds. So on all Laserdiscs, they come with like a code, kind of like an ISBN thing for books. And on this one, I'll show you a picture of it, but it's the code for this Laserdisc is PSE 82997, and 82997 is a reference to August 29th, 1997, which was Judgment Day in the movie. That's the day the world ends. So that's just a little fun they had with the version number. I don't know. There are probably a lot of other Laserdiscs that have neat little Easter eggs in their version codes, but I thought that was cool. Anyway, that's what I got for Terminator 2. Have a good one, everybody.